Like, I had no issues with playing Rishabh Pant, I'll be honest. But the day you dropped him out of the Pakistan game, the biggest game this country plays, it was a red flag. I thought they did not trust Rishabh Pant going ahead. And to be very honest, they did not trust Rishabh Pant with it. Welcome to OneCricket Unscripted. It is yet another World Cup year, and the Indian team management have a lot of questions that they need to answer. Starting off with whether it will be Dinesh Karthik or Rishabh Pant. At this point in time, it looks like Rishabh Pant is not in the thick of things.
I agree. It looks like Dinesh Karthik could get the nod ahead of him. He's a man in form who has done well in the Indian Premier League. He did well in the last T20I against Australia, where he finished off the game. So, yeah, obviously, if the management is looking for somebody who can finish the game, then it makes sense to take Karthik along. And if you want to add the left-hand, right-hand dynamism, and you need somebody who can bat in the middle of overs, especially in the absence of Ravindra Jadeja, who's injured. So then I think you should go with Rishabh Pant. I'm not looking at them as wicket keepers, but just plainly as batsmen.
So you're basically looking at someone who is a middle order batter, who can get the job done against spin, because spin is something that will play an integral role in T20I, especially wrist spin. And wrist spinners hate it when it's a left and right combination, because obviously everyone has a preferred type of batsman that they love to bowl at. Rishabh Pant kind of gives you that balance where you can send him up the order against a spinner, and every spinner will have troubles because it's not easy bowling to a left hand right hand combination. But my question here is, does India really need a left hand right hand combination, and is there space in this middle order to fit a Rishabh Pant?
I think they do actually. Like you said, that the spinners will hate bowling to him. We're going to face the likes of Zampa, Shamsi. I think Rishabh can do a lot of damage against them. And any bowler, for that matter of fact, not just spinners, they hate bowling to the right-hand, left-hand combination. And Rishabh Pant is someone who can steady the innings in the middle order, and he can hit those aggressive shots. He has that range of shots in his arsenal. And Karthik, just taking him along as the finisher, I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now, because we already have Hardik Pandya, who is doing well, who is finishing games for India.
Don't you think that if Jadeja was available, then this Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja duo was something that you could have banked upon and then added Rishabh Pant? Currently, what you have is it's Dinesh Karthik and Hardik Pandya. That duo seems, you can say, a good pair to finish things off. But if you pull out DK from the squad, add Rishabh Pant into it, then you have a middle order that is lengthy enough. But when it comes to finishing things off, it's only Hardik Pandya who will be supported by the likes of Akshar Patel, Harshal Patel, and Deepak Chahar if he ends up playing. So this is where I'll see a lot of pressure goes on to Hardik Pandya. He's a hell of a finisher. Like, he can finish games on his own. He has proven himself. He'll just nod his head off and he'll be like, this is on me, I'll do it. He has done it, he can do it. But just pulling out DK at this point in time without Jadeja suggests that the lower middle order will be a bit thinner if DK is absent.
I agree. You do make a good point in that regard. But Rishabh Pant is somebody who is not just a finisher. He adds more stability to the batting lineup as well. Apart from adding the left-hand, right-hand dynamism.
Do you really think he adds stability to the lineup?
He does actually.
He's not consistent enough.
I agree. He's not consistent enough. He hasn't shown his form in the T20I format, but he has done well in Australia in the past. This is a player who is confident in his abilities. This is a player who's fearless. He doesn't change his approach if he's out of form.
He is confident with his abilities, but exactly. Is the team confident in his abilities? Like, I had no issues with playing Rishabh Pant, I'll be honest. But the day you dropped him out of the Pakistan game, the biggest game this country plays, it was a red flag. I thought they did not trust Rishabh Pant going ahead. And to be very honest, they did not trust Rishabh Pant with it.
Okay, so there could be a number of reasons why they dropped Rishabh Pant. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Indian think tank, they consider Karthik as a better batter or a better player for India. It doesn't mean that. There could be a number of reasons behind the snub of Pant, because Rohit Sharma
You're calling it a snub, and then you're saying that there are multiple reasons why Rishabh Pant was left out.
Yeah, actually, there could be multiple reasons, because Rohit Sharma himself just said that India is still trying to figure out their best combinations, and they're still trying to figure out how to answer all the questions.
You have a settled betting order, you'll go ahead with it. Do you think that this settled betting order needs change? I know that you are backing Rishabh Pant, the X Factor player, but will you tinker with a settled playing 11? Settled betting unit. It's not a settled playing 11 by any means as of now.
Right. So I agree that consistency is key. Keeping the combinations same ahead of a major tournament can always prove to be an advantage. But we are talking about a player who has done well in Australia in the past, and he will have the hunger and determination to prove himself after being dropped in these recent matches. He has that talent, and he has that fearlessness that will need going into a major tournament. So I would still back him. I still think that he's a good addition to our middle order. He adds a lot of dynamism. He gives us options that DK will not. On the other hand, I also agree that DK is a far more consistent player right now. He's a man in form, and he has proven that he can finish games for India. But that said, Hardik Pandya is a better finisher. He's already finishing games for us.
Yeah, any day is a better finisher.
Yes, he is finishing games for us. So I think we can get somebody who can bat those middle orders, who can, see off sometimes, steady the innings. So I think Pant would be a better choice. That is.
So basically what this guy's trying to say is that you need a left hand right hand combination in the middle overs. You need an X factor to win a World Cup. That is his take, but my personal take is, if you have a stable top order, be consistent with it, head into a World Cup and see what you come out with. The only fact here is that we are not going to change our opinions. He is going to stick with Rishabh Pant because he believes that he'll add an X factor. I'll stick with the current combination because I believe that if you have stability, you'll win it. You'll win eventually big tournaments because it has been proven in the past.
Now, also, let me tell you something. We are going to face spinners like Zampa, Shamsi in the World Cup, and let me assure you, they're going to hate bowling to Rishabh. They're going to hate bowling to left armers who can do a lot of damage.
I know that they'll hate bowling to left hand, right hand combinations. But let me tell you something. That combination will not be an Indian combination because I personally don't see Rishabh Pant making into the 11 at this point in time until unless you have shortened games where you need an extra batter. That is where Rishabh Pant comes in. Apart from that, I don't see Rishabh Pant making it to the 11. You want Rishabh Pant, you can very well have him in your fantasy 11.
See, at the end of the day, all of this is hypothetical.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the Indian management is thinking. But what we can do is just put our points across and just make sure we take the best team forward and we win the World Cup. That is all.
Yeah. Eventually, everyone in this country wants to win the World Cup, irrespective of the combination that you field. This is all hypothetical. Things can turn out differently, but all said and done, if they go ahead with Rishabh Pant in the World Cup, then again I'll come up with another video where I make sure to criticize them because you have trusted Dinesh Karthik for so long. And when the time comes, if you drop him, that will also send out wrong signals. All said and done, we should shift our focus to another major issue in the Indian team, which is their death bowling. Like, I'll say 6 months back, I was like, this is the best death bowling that we have had in years. Jasprit Bumrah, Arshdeep Singh, Harshal Patel, Deepak Chahar as an option, like Mohammad Shami if needed. Mohammad Shami, if needed, I'm saying if needed. He's a reserve player in our squad. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that Mohammad Shami was a reserve player. And the fact that T Natarajan and others were not even considered.
Totally. We have a wealth of options when it comes to death bowling.
But what is happening with the results? We are getting smoked. 19 overs have been costing 20 odd runs every time.
I agree, but there's one thing that I would like to say, that the death bowling woes, I think that could be sorted once Jasprit returns, which he has. So
he has returned, but he has not returned. So what you're trying to say is Jasprit Bumrah has not
the sense
returned.
Of the word, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, when Jasprit Bumrah was out of the equation, a lot of pressure was on Bhuvneshwar, who had to limit the runs, who was treated as a wicket-taking bowler as well. So obviously,
Bhuvi, he was your all-rounder, bowling all-rounder.
Exactly. Bhuvi is basically a wicket-taking bowler for me. So if there's Jasprit Bumrah, putting pressure on the batters from one end, Bhuvi can just go on and do his job. But in the Asia Cup, what he had to do was he had to take wickets. He had to put pressure on the batters as well, which he hasn't done clearly. Because in the matches against Pakistan and Sri Lanka, where he just gave Ashdeep 7 runs to defend in the last over in both matches.
He conceded around 20 runs in both the games.
Yeah, he did. So with Jasprit Bumrah back in the side, there will be no pressure on Bhuvneshwar.
And to be honest, he won't be bowling the 19th over. It's pretty much certain that
Ashdeep and
Bumrah will be bowling the 19th.
Bowling the 19th and 20th overs. Yeah. And both of them have shown that they are amazing death bowlers who can restrict the batsman.
Like, don't you think that we have way too many options and eventually finding out the perfect combination will be a trouble? Because a few months back, before Harshal Patel's injury, he was a guaranteed starter in the 11. Then came the Asia Cup. You had Arshdeep's performances, and all of a sudden you thought Arshdeep's the man. All said and done, you need 3 bowlers who can bowl at the death, someone who can start off things along with Bumrah. See, Bumrah can bowl an over or 2 at the start as well as in the death. But the Indian team will prefer that Bumrah bowls 1 up top, 1 in the middle whenever you need a wicket, and 2 at the death. This is where the question comes. Do you back Bhuvneshwar Kumar to start off? Because I'll tell you something very interesting, which I think will happen eventually. In the South Africa squad, there is no Bhuvneshwar Kumar. There is Deepak Chahar, who might get the nod. And if he does perform, he might end up starting the World Cup. Because before his injury, he was a starter.
Okay. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think our bowling lineup is pretty much settled. Bhuvi is going to start. He's a 100% starter for me. He is our prime wicket taker when we start our bowling. And the pitches in Australia, they're very different to that of UAE, where we had the Asia Cup. Australia pitches, they are conducive to fast bowlers. I can totally see Bhuvneshwar taking wickets early on, especially with Bumrah putting the pressure on the batters. So he is a set start.
What's your combination? Like, okay,
India should open their bowling with Bhuvneshwar and Jasprit Bumrah like they have done.
You're going ahead with 5 bowlers or 4 bowlers and just 1 all-rounder in Hardik Pandya. Is it 5 plus 1 or 4 plus 1?
No, I'd go with 4 plus 1.
You'll go with 4 plus 1, which means you have an extra batsman in the 11.
Correct.
Because currently what India is doing, they are having 5 bowlers and the one extra option is Hardik Pandya.
Right. I'd prefer if we went with 4 specialist bowlers and then Pandya as the all-rounder.
And so 5 bowling options.
Correct.
To be very honest, India will not go ahead with that because they have backed 5 bowlers till now. And I believe they might eventually go ahead with the same combination. Personals might be different. The combination will be 2 spinners and 3 out and out pacers and a Hardik Pandya. So this is where you have 4 pace options and 2 spin options. 1 spin option is pretty much certain, which is Chahal. The other spin option at this point in time looks like Akshar Patel, but it could be Ravi Ashwin coming during the World Cup. What is the pace combination? This is the serious issue because, see, you have a Arshdeep Singh who is good at death. You have Harshal Patel who is again a good bowler at the death. You have Bumrah who is a certainty. If you're playing 3, Bumrah is 1. Now, what's your take? Is it Arshdeep and Bhuvneshwar Kumar, or is it Harshal Patel and Bhuvneshwar Kumar?
I'd personally go with Arshdeep and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Arshdeep is in great form. He's full of confidence right now. He did well in the IPL. He did well in the Asia Cup. There is no point dropping him. I think he's a bowler full of confidence right now. So I'd stick with the tested and proven combination of Bhuvi and Bumrah. And then obviously we can use Bumrah in the death as well, along with Arshdeep, who has proven that he is a top class death over bowler.
To say is that we'll go ahead with the tried and tested stuff.
100%.
That is what is his take. This is all hypothetical, and a lot will change post the South Africa T20I series. But both of us can agree to a fact that India needs a settled 11 going into the World Cup. If you're going to make changes, those changes should be settled. When I say those changes should be settled, you should already know that if this is the situation, this is the change I'm making. At this point in time, India is not that certain about the changes they are making. So hopefully, after the end of the South Africa tour, we have a clear game plan, and in this World Cup we do much better than what we did previously and finally bring back that trophy which we had in 2007.